Oh, welcome back. So our question of the day now, and we're asking you this morning, the North Gauteng High Court has ruled that independent early childhood development centres that comply with COVID-19 safety measures can open immediately. But do you think this should extend to government-run centres as well? And why? Let us know your views at Morning Live SABC. Hashtag Morning Live SABC is where you can get in touch with us, and we'll share some of your views as we move through the show.
Right, let's move to the stories of the day now. Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation Minister Lindiwe Zulu is today expected to brief the National Council of Provinces on progress made in the provision of water and sanitation in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, the cumulative number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in South Africa now stands at 205,721. The number of deaths, 3,310. There's a total of 97,848 people who have since recovered, which brings the total number of active cases of COVID-19 to 104,563.
So here are those telephone numbers that you need to save if you need to get hold of anybody on a 24-hour hotline, 0800 029 999. The WhatsApp number, that's the government support WhatsApp number for COVID-19, 0600 123 456.
Right, for those provincial numbers now, breakdown for you, looking at the number of increases since yesterday, the number of deaths and also recoveries. So starting with the Western Cape, there was an increase of 1,407 cases of COVID-19 in that province, 2,101 deaths. Gauteng, they added 3,487 cases, and the number of deaths is at 403. Eastern Cape, 2,433 more, 528 fatalities so far. KZN has added 673 cases with 183 fatalities. And just a reminder, the fatalities is the total number of fatalities per province to this point. And then Northwest Province, 347 more cases. Their death toll sits at 36. Limpopo Province, 79 cases, 27 deaths, and Mpumalanga saw an increase of 208 positive cases of COVID-19. Death toll is at 7. Free State, 251, 19 fatalities, and the Northern Cape, they had an increase of 86 cases, and the number of deaths stands at 6.
All right, let's move on to the totals now in terms of provincial. There you can see that the Western Cape is at 70,938. Gauteng, ever so close, 66,891. KwaZulu-Natal, 15,819. The Eastern Cape, 38,081. Then we've got the Free State at 2,804. Limpopo, 1,785. Mpumalanga, 2,173. The Northwest, 6,410. The Northern Cape, 820. The total tests conducted to date, 1.8 million. Confirmed cases, 205,721. Of those, 104,553 are active cases. The recoveries are 97,848. The deaths, 3,310. And late last night, the reported new cases that just came in, 8,971.
And there you have the picture of the past 7 days and what the numbers have been doing of COVID-19, starting from Tuesday, the 30th of June. As you can see, at that point, we had 73,543 recoveries, and all the way up until yesterday, the number of recoveries stood at 97,848. And then if you take a look at the number of deaths, on Tuesday there were 2,657, Wednesday 2,749, all the way up to yesterday 3,310. And the number of new cases, 6,945 on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday there were 8,124, Thursday 8,728, and then you see Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so consistently above the 8,000 mark of new cases since last Wednesday.
Let's have a look at that global picture now, Sakina, just to put it all in perspective. So worldwide, we're looking at a case number now, total of 11.6 million. That's up 203,000 from yesterday. Recoveries are at 6.2 million. And the death toll is now at 537,000. That's up 5,193 in a day. America still, unfortunately, the top there, 2.9 million. I'm sure, we're going to see them breach that 3 million mark very shortly. They're up 43,000 cases. The death toll is at 132,000. That's up 212 yesterday. India now is the one that is soaring ahead, unfortunately. They have now overtaken Russia with the most cases reported. They're at 697,000. They went up 24,000 cases in just the day, and their death toll, unfortunately, is sitting at 19,693. That's up 425. But Brazil still also being very, very consistent in their numbers, rising fast. 1.6 million is where they're at. 20,229 new infections yesterday. Their death toll went up the most, I think, than any country. It went up 620, that's the death toll, and it's now at 65,550. Into your global trends, global coronavirus infections, I beg your pardon.
All right, let's move on to those trending topics now. First up, hashtag NASFAS. Now, this is something that unfolded in the early hours of this morning. Sure. And it's quite bizarre. There's this Twitter account that belongs to someone who calls themselves Queen at LintyXP. And I tried to go into that account, but it is private, it is locked, so couldn't get any more information on who this is. But this person says that their mum passed away in 2008, was adopted by my aunt, who legally is my mum, which does not change the fact that I lived in Italy for years. NASFAS used it because I can, but then I left Bloom and was in Joburg and went to Varsity College in Sandton. Please. So was people very upset about this, saying, so your mom is an ambassador to Spain, it would seem. And they are questioning why this particular person, this account holder, was a beneficiary of NASFAS, especially since she is saying to everybody how wealthy she is, she's well off. So they are questioning whether NASFAS is doing appropriate background checks, Leanne.
Sure, I know, this is a big trend, and everybody's waking up now and asking, okay, so why is NASFAS trending? And then, of course, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and people are just not happy about what they're seeing unfolding here. So I can assure you that this story is going to develop, and through the day, you're going to see this one getting bigger and bigger and bigger in terms of the funding that comes from NASFAS. And, if you've got the means, why do you qualify when people are so desperately wanting that money and they can't apply? So you'll see that story developing a lot more throughout the day. Another one, Phillip Tudor. Now, this, of course, is a big trend, and we all know what's going on in terms of the VBS scandal and what's been going on. 8 people have been arrested now, and Phillip Tudor is the CFO that has now officially been arrested. Remember, at the time when the others appeared, he was in quarantine, and he is now, of course, definitely in custody. And I think that what's actually been said is that he was going to be taken to a mental facility, I think, or he was going in for some testing. But I think the crux of all of this was, everybody knew who he was. That, he's gone to a psychiatric hospital, and everybody knew who Phillip Tudor was. And there was just suddenly this big discussion when there was a photograph of the other 7 suspects, who all happened to be black men, and there wasn't a photograph included of Phillip Tudor, who is a white man. And then, of course, this brought out a whole debate as to whether or not, there's this sensitivity around showing this white man's face, whereas, it's very easy to show the face of a black man, showing that this is, this is where the corruption comes in. But a white man, no. And that sparked a huge argument, and it still is raging out there. And yeah, so I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but it is quite a
Well,
raging
not
debate
really,
going on.
except to say that the picture on your screen there, Twitterati went and found that picture of Phillip Tudor and they added it. They're like, media, let's correct this picture for you.
Yeah.
And they added that as the 8th suspect.
Very, very much so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a big rage going on there. And then Gavin Watson came out of it. And I know you were watching this one quite closely.
Yeah, so Gavin Watson, and it all starts from the Phillip Tudor trend. And people were saying, does anyone remember, or do we know what actually happened to the Gavin Watson investigation? Because we were told that, you know, there would be imminent breakthroughs and then nothing.
Yeah.
And we all forgot about Gavin Watson. We stopped talking about Gavin Watson. So whatever happened to that investigation? And then people were saying, well, he's probably sitting in Dubai, and everybody was speculating as to where he could possibly be. But essentially questioning once again what had happened to Gavin Watson.
Yeah, and also adding to that, please, can you keep an eye on Phillip? We don't want a Gavin Watson happening again. And that's I think that's the crux of it all. But yeah, we laugh, but this is no laughing matter. It really isn't. I mean, this is corruption at its worst, and there never ever seems to be repercussions, and that's a big problem. I think that's what frustrates South Africa.
Yeah, and it does frustrate South Africans because the language we use, and as the media, we need to up our game in this regard. It reminds me of the 2010 the scandal around the building of the stadia for the 2010 World Cup, and then it was said there were irregularities. The same thing with Steinhoff, where you talk about accounting irregularities, and people are saying whenever it involves white people or white companies, you know, we find these fancy ways of describing it, but we are not consistent, because when it involves black people, we are quick to call it corruption and whatever else it may be. And that is a fact.
Indeed, you're absolutely right. Well, Sakina, I will bring you a regular headline bulletin now.